Bill Maher, or as I like to call him, TDS Bill, gets fact-checked over a really rather weird concern he brings up about Donald Trump. Guys, this is a good one. I think you're going to like it. As you know, Ben Shapiro is generally very good, very smart, quick on his feet, and good with the facts. So he lays down the law for Bill Maher, and it is not a pretty sight, for Bill at least. So we're going to get right into it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, everybody, do me a big favor here. Like our video, share it around, and if you are new, subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you guys this great content. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the show. Also, thank you to the returning subscribers. We really appreciate you guys.
I can answer your question there about like he just says stuff. I mean, you're so sanguine about this, it just amuses me. And it won't in the future because, yeah, he didn't do a lot of the stuff he said the first time, but he tried. You know, Hillary, lock her up. Yeah, he tried. He tried to get Sessions to do that.
Not really.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
And he certainly tried to not honor the election. And as I said from the beginning, didn't concede. He tried everything. He did not have in place enough lackeys and stooges to pull it off the first time. That may not be the case the second time. That's my worry about Trump. The whistling past the graveyard of, he says a lot of things about the enemies within and all these words and phrases that we heard from places where they did conduct pogroms about people. That's exactly what they said in Rwanda.
Okay. I mean, I think that if you're believing that Donald Trump is a figure who's about to massacre the Houthis,
I don't.
Houthis or the Tutsis.
But if they were here, he would.
I highly.
The Houthis, they're eating the pet. The Houthis, the Haitians ate all the dogs and the cats. The Houthis go for the hamsters.
But, like, here's the thing. I keep asking people, like...
I will say, even though Bill's got a shitload of TDS and it's getting a little out of hand, that is pretty funny. So I give him that.
What's the practical path for Trump to do this? I've actually said to people, if you actually want Trump not to deny the next election, then probably he should win. Because he ain't sticking around for a third term. All he wants is to win. Once he wins, he frankly, I mean, really?
Again.
Like on a practical level.
Again, that's adorable that you think that.
You think he wants to stick around after that? The only reason he stuck around this time is because he lost last time. That's the only reason he's there.
I mean, he's not even unique in this. Once you get to be president, once you have the plane, and wherever you want to go in the world, you can get there faster than any other human being because they will clear the countryside, the streets, they will clear everything. Once you have all those kind of perks, you never want to give them. Look at Biden. He must have known that he was a shell of his former self, but you cannot. It's like flying private.
Yeah, but he's eligible. I mean, Trump's not eligible after this.
Once you fly private once.
They can't even list him on a ballot. I mean, once his second term is over, it's over. And as far as the people he's going to appoint to his cabinet, they have to go through Senate confirmation. I mean, like, here's the thing about Trump. And again, we don't have to talk about Trump the whole time, but You
notice that Shapiro points out Senate confirmation, even though now look at the reality of it. We have a Republican majority Senate. It's probably because Shapiro knows there are a lot of neocon, never Trumper types who are in there who might just sabotage Trump and the agenda he wants to get on his presidency. Now, I pray I'm wrong. But all that to say, Patriots, if you have a conservative senator, a so-called conservative Republican, whatever you want to call them, or congressman, and they're not supporting the great Make America Great Again agenda, by that I mean, lessening immigration, things of that kind of nature, dump them, all right? Primary them and get them out.
The systems of government, the checks and balances, were built to stop stupid, blundering attempts to overrun those boundaries. They really were. I mean, that's why you can say that Donald Trump tried all this stuff and it failed, because the system was basically built for that. What the system was not really built for was the takeover of institutions from the inside and then the gradual weakening of those institutions. So, for example, the use of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to try and cram down vaccines on 80 million Americans, right? Or the attempt to ram down, alleviation of student loans single-handedly, and then after the Supreme Court says don't do that, the attempt to continue to do that. Or the activation of the Department of Justice to continue investigating Trump apparently for everything under the sun. Like, these sorts of things, they can be abused that way. And those abuses are pretty serious.
I'm not going to follow all those trails because we're here at Club Random. But I could. I mean, some of what you say I agree with, some I don't. Let's end this section of our conversation with just this one question. If he does do these things that I fear, will you admit it?
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
I think he will. I think you're an honorable guy.
I mean,
I do.
I
mean,
opposed him when
don't-
he was doing this between November and January last time around.
Okay, but he did it, so how could you possibly forgive it?
And what exactly did Trump do, Mr. Shapiro? And look, I get that Shapiro supports Trump, but let's not forget he was a neoconservative never-Trumper. I mean, he's still a neoconservative, but he was a huge never-Trumper back in 2016 and basically said, it'd be better if Hillary won over Trump because, I don't know, apparently that's better for him. Which leads me to the next question. What exactly did Trump do that was so wrong, Ben? Was it that he told people to go and protest peacefully after there were quite a lot of bit of shenanigans from the left? All that aside, it's a losing argument. Like, why are you putting yourself in a position where you're saying, well, what Trump did back then was wrong, but he's still better than Kamala Harris? It's like, no, you can just say that either A, what he did wasn't wrong because it wasn't, or B, that you just don't care. But saying, oh, he did something wrong just to win brownie points with the left and look like you're Mr. Goody Two-Shoes and, you have such consistent morals, it's really silly and it just doesn't work. I don't know why people still do it. I don't get it.
I mean, again, all the woke stuff, this is last week's editorial that I did and this week, they both kind of have the same theme, which is that, Kamala, you need to convince the undecided voter that you're not a stealth woke nut.
Yes.
That's it.
Are you convinced?
No, but I would take that even over, as much baggage comes with that. It's still better than the guy who doesn't concede elections, loves Putin, loves autocracy, fundamentally doesn't understand that that's the linchpin to America, the peaceful transference of power. No, I don't think he would ever give it up. I don't think he would ever say, I lost.
So can I ask you the countervailing question?
And he will probably try to pass it on to Uday and Hussein.
Yeah, Bill, what about when Hillary Clinton would have conceded an election and said that Trump was an illegitimate president who was elected by Russian bots or something and Vladimir Putin himself? Are you going to condemn Hillary for that? Of course you're not. We all know you won't because you don't have consistent standards on this. It's all about your hatred towards the evil orange man and your crazy TDS that is just out of control, clearly metastasizing. It's getting a little concerning. Might want to go get an MRI or something. I don't know what's going on there, but all jokes aside, Bill Maher was actually called out in a separate episode of his, Club Random? Yeah, Club Random podcast with Megyn Kelly. And she told Bill, Hillary Clinton didn't concede, and I don't see you complaining about that. And Bill just sat there and said, no, she didn't. She totally did concede, blah, blah, blah. And, it just goes to show there's no logic here. There's no rationale. It's pure emotional hatred. And Bill, despite what he may think, is very much brainwashed by the mainstream media. He thankfully thinks a little bit more independently than most left-wingers do, but he is nonetheless propagandized to an extreme degree.
So you've asked me, if Trump does all these things, will you admit it and
Yes.
say that? And I said, okay, so if Kamala turns out, if she wins, and she turns out to be just as stealthily woke as I fear she will be, and if she pursues the bad kind of foreign policy that I think she will, I assume that you'll also come forward and say that.
What I will admit is that she was a stealth woke nut. I will not admit, because I haven't said it now and never have and never would, that is yet worse than not conceding an election.
Understood.
That to me is the absolute bottom.
So I think that if you're going to make a bet, to be fair, just to, if we're going to put it in people's lap, then the bet is basically, do you think there's a better chance that Donald Trump ends up being a Hitlerian, tyrannical dictator who overruns all the boundaries of power?
Right.
Or do you think that there's a better chance that Kamala Harris is going to be a stealth woke nut who runs America into a ditch? And I think there's a way better chance of the latter than the former.
Yeah, but yes, maybe so. Don't know, but a good question at least. What is not a question in my mind is, if the worst outcome of each happened, which is the worst of the two?
Fair. That's part of the calculus.
And you agree with that?
Well, I mean,
it would be worse
if Donald Trump turns into Hitler. I think that is worse than Kamala Harris being a bad president.
Not Hitler. He's not going to kill all the Jews. He likes the Jews.
He does.
And so do I.
And that concludes today's video. What do y'all think? Let us know, guys. Please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked about this video, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, and God bless. I love the Jewish people. Great group of people, the Jewish people. We love the Jewish people. We love Israel, our greatest ally. Just messing around, guys. Just want to do a little Trump impression since they were just talking about that.